Hey, this is 21 Questions. Thanks for coming to play. My name's Mike. I run trivia shows and I'm very glad you're here. Let's go. Question 1. What word means to assign a part to an actor as well as throw a fishing line into the water? That's to cast a part in a play, to cast a line into the water. Question 2. According to the old proverb, many hands make what? Many hands make light work. Question 3. In May of 1930, Ellen Church became America's first what? Was it A, registered nurse? Was it B, flight attendant? Or C, female mayor? Ellen Church was a trailblazing woman. She was America's first flight attendant, but she was so much more than that because she was also a registered nurse and a qualified pilot. And that's what she wanted to do. She wanted to be a commercial airline pilot, but the airline companies went, what? A woman flying a plane? I don't think so. But she still wanted to fly, so she became a flight attendant or a flight stewardess, although the airlines called them sky girls. And to become a sky girl was quite a tricky process. You had to be single, a registered nurse, younger than 25, weigh less than 52 kilos, be less tall than 5 foot 4 inches, so 1.63 metres, that was the ceiling. And in addition to attending to the passengers, you were also required to help with the luggage, help with fueling the plane, and even helping the pilot push the aircraft into the hangar at the end of the flight. What a great gig. It's worth mentioning that sometimes she is referred to as the world's first flight attendant. She technically wasn't. A German man named Heinrich Kubis was that. He was a flight attendant in 1912, but Ellen was absolutely the first female one. Okay. Question 4, is it true or false? True or false? The actor Peter O'Toole holds the record for most nominations for the Best Actor Oscar without ever winning. Is that true? Is that false? You gotta feel a bit sorry for Peter O'Toole. He was nominated 8 times for Best Actor, never won a single thing. He's actually tied overall with the actress Glenn Close, who we mentioned in relation to the movie Fatal Attraction, I think an episode or 2 ago. But he's tied with her for the most acting nominations without a competitive win. He was nominated from 1962 for Lawrence of Arabia all the way to 2006 for a movie called Venus. I haven't seen any of those, but apparently he's good, but not quite good enough because he's never won a single thing. Question 5. Poker. Which poker hand is higher? 2 pair or 3 of a kind? That's 3 of a kind. I don't know much about poker. I think that means they take away my boy card, but I've never really played it. Question 6. Released in cinemas on May 22 of this year. That's 2026 for anyone listening in the future. Hello. The Mandalorian and Grogu is a part of which movie franchise? The Mandalorian and Grogu is the latest installment in the Star Wars franchise. Now, first of all, if I'm saying Grogu in a way that makes you sad, I'll have you know that last night at a live trivia show, I said Grogu and someone got mad at me. And she went to a lot of trouble to school me in the pronunciation of it, and it's Grogu. She said, Grogu, you got to drop the kind of goo. So Grogu with a dropped goo. Anyway, Mandalorian and what's his face. It's all good. I will say this, the reviewers have not been kind to that movie. They're calling it the death of the Star Wars franchise, whereas to me, Star Wars finished after the first 3 movies. I shall have no further truck with it. Right then, question 7. Which country's flag is red, black and gold and features the Southern Cross and a bird of paradise? Think a close neighbour to Australia. If you're thinking New Zealand, you went the wrong way. You need to go up, 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 because it's Papua New Guinea. Okay, after question 7, we do the first clues for the Who Am I for the episode. This one's a little bit different to what we normally do, but I think you'll like it. Here we go. Who am I? I was born in 1935 in Modena in northern Italy. My father was a baker by trade, but a tenor at heart, and he sang around the house every day of my childhood. I trained as a school teacher and qualified in 1955 and then spent 2 years in the classroom before deciding I hated the kids. That's not true. That's something I said. I'll start that again. Then spent 2 years in the classroom before deciding I couldn't stay away from singing. To pay the bills whilst I studied singing, I sold insurance. Life insurance to the kids at the school. No, I made that up too. I do apologise. I'm in a mood. Question 8. Let's get on with it. Which 6-letter word is a remnant or trace of an organism of a past geologic age, such as a skeleton, a leaf imprint, etc., embedded and preserved in the Earth's crust? That was a lot of trouble just to get to the word fossil. Can I tell you that? I hope you got there easier than I asked the question. Question 9. Viticulture and viniculture is the science, production and study of what? A viticulturalist grows grapes. Grapes. Question 10. It starts with S and it's the bacterium that can cause food poisoning commonly associated with eggs and chicken. What is it? That's salmonella. Salmonella, which is considered unfriendly and not good for you. Question 11. True or false? Canadians celebrate Thanksgiving Day on the same day that the Americans do. That one's false. The Canadians celebrate Thanksgiving on the second Monday of October. The Americans do that on the fourth Thursday of November, and clearly they have different things to be thankful for. Can I just say, I question the wisdom of holding a big party day, a day of celebration on a Tuesday or a Thursday. Are these people getting up and going to work the next day? Are they pulling a sickie? Do they do sickies overseas? Surely it's not just an Australian thing. Whatever, I think you should do your partying on the weekend. Can I just say that? I'll put that on the record right now. Question 12. What popular brand of sports footwear took its name from a type of African antelope? That's Reebok. Reebok is a type of African antelope. Who knew? I didn't. That's not surprising though, I don't know anything. Question 13. Which American president referenced the Berlin Wall when he said in 1987, "Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall"? I'd like to apologise now for my unplanned and unrehearsed impression of Ronald Reagan. It was appalling, but here's a fun fact to make up for it. When Ronald Reagan was 73, he was sent a letter inviting him to enlist in the United States Marines. He said no, obviously. He wrote quite a funny letter back, basically saying he was flattered to be asked, but no, he's very busy doing his current job. You can read that letter online if you would care to Google it. Question 14. What was the first name of the famous historical figure Gandhi, who led the Quit India movement against British rule in India? That's Mahatma Gandhi. More clues now for the Who Am I? It's the Italian tenor, was a school teacher, quit that, sold insurance, who am I? After winning a prestigious singing competition in 1961, I made my professional debut in the theatre. I also travelled to Wales with a choir from my city, and we won an international singing competition, which convinced me that opera could take me places, and not just to Wales either. Do you know who that is yet? Has the penny dropped? That's okay. We'll do more clues after question 20 if you need them. Question 15. Which country would you be flying to if your baggage tag says FUK? Would that be Germany, France, Japan? If your baggage tag says FUK, I'm trying to avoid saying FUK. Anyway, if your baggage tag says FUK, and I'm just giving that a soft pronunciation so I don't get in trouble from the podcasting gods. If your baggage tag says FUK, you are flying to Japan, and more specifically, the Fukuoka airport. Fukuoka, that's fun to say. Fukuoka, say it now. Fukuoka, you can sing it. Fukuoka airport, we're off to Fukuoka airport. I'm just going to sing that for the rest of the episode, but that's enough questions. Let's just do that. Okay, whatever. Question 16. In nature, what name is given to a network of rabbits' burrows? That would be Warren. Question 17. Is The Simpsons currently in its 27th or 37th season? The Simpsons is in its 37th season. It's been renewed to at least its 40th season as well, although die-hard Simpsons fans, I'm told, checked out of that around about season 10. I, on the other hand, never really got into The Simpsons. Question 18. Which band starred in the movie Can't Stop the Music in 1980? Do you remember this? You can't stop the music. Nobody can stop the music. That would be The Village People. A movie so bad it's actually kind of fun. Good. Question 19. Is it still alive or not so much? I give you a name and you decide if you think that particular person is still alive or not so much. Today, Raquel Welch. American actor, pin-up girl. She made a heap of movies from the 1970s on. More recently, she was in Legally Blonde. She had roles on TV on CSI Miami, Spin City, even an episode of Seinfeld. Is Raquel Welch still alive or not so much? Not so much. She passed away in 2023 and I did not know that either. Question 20 is a music question. Which Australian band had international hits with Need You Tonight, Devil Inside and Never Tear Us Apart? That would be In Excess, Aussie rock royalty, Michael Hutchence out the front, pretty good band. In Excess. Okay, final clues now for the Who Am I? It's the Italian tenor, opera singer. Here we go, Who Am I? My nickname was the King of the High Seas, seas as in the note, not as in the ocean. And in 1990, a recording I'd made nearly 20 years earlier was chosen as the BBC's theme for the Football World Cup, and my life was never the same again. I sang Nessun Dorma on the eve of the World Cup final in Rome alongside Placido Domingo and Jose Carreras, and the recording of that concert became the biggest selling classical album in history. I am Big Lucy, Luciano Pavarotti, and I thought it'd be fun to talk about him given that the World Cup of football is currently happening. Okay, that's 21 questions done. Time now for the player question. And look, I'm not going to make a big deal of it, but some of you listen to every episode of this podcast and have never sent me a trivia question. You know who you are, and I'd like you to change that, please. Send me a trivia question, anything you like, and I'll put it in this section of the show at some point. Paul did. Paul sent me a question. Last episode we talked about Paul. We didn't say bad things about him, but we did talk about him, and specifically his question, which was, which Beatles song was originally titled I Can Buy You Golden Rings, until Paul and John came up with a better idea for the song. I Can Buy You Golden Rings is now better known as Drive My Car, as in baby you can drive my car, bum 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 bum. Anyway, good, thank you Paul, that's the idea. See how easy it is? You just type me a question. You just send it to me. 2 ways you can do that, but we'll talk about that in a minute. This episode, Liam has sent me a geography question, and I like it. Liam has sent me, how many US states border Canada? And I don't know. I've been to that part of the world, but I didn't count the states. I didn't step out the borders, if that's what you're asking. But I would imagine, I don't know, 4? I'm guessing 3, 4, not many. Anyway, we'll do the answer next episode. Thank you, Liam, and thank you, Paul, for your questions. Now, as I said, I'd love you to send me a trivia question. I'm up to about episode 90, but I'm always taking new questions on, and bearing in mind that when we get to episode 100, which is a little way off, I'll probably do another player question episode like I did on episode 50. Anyway, if you'd like to send me a trivia question or just any kind of feedback generally, be gentle with me, I'm delicate. 2 ways to get it to me. You can send me a message via the Facebook page, 21 Questions by Trivia Tribe is the Facebook page. The logo on that page is the same as the logo on the podcast you're listening to now, so easy to find. Or you can email me direct, which would appear to be the preferred method of communication for most of you. Most of you are emailing me now, and the email address is mike@triviatribe.com.au. I will respond to your message either way to let you know that I got it. I don't want you to think I'm some kind of faceless podcaster sitting in a dark room not responding to messages. I am those things, but I do respond to messages. So send me a message, I'll get back to you. And if you've sent me a question, it will get added to the list. At this stage, I have used every single question I've been sent, except for one, which was kind of racist and a bit unfun. Is unfun a word? You know what I mean? I just went, oh, no. It's a no from me. Anyway, thank you for listening. This podcast comes out every Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday, and I hope you will meet me back here in a couple of days. We'll do it all again. My name's Mike van Acker. I love you. Catch you next time.